So you're on the hunt for an eSIM for your upcoming trip to Europe, or maybe you're just traveling around Europe and you can't be bothered spending a fortune on roaming costs. eSIMs are available everywhere. So the big question when you're looking for eSIMs is how much data do you need, or do you need calls and do you need texts, or do you need both? So that's one of the first decisions you need to make when you're getting an eSIM. So if you're going to get data, you've also got to decide between unlimited data or paying just for a few gigabytes. So let's take a look at a few of the best options that I've found, trying all the different ones around Europe this year. And just a quick heads up, all the links that I'll mention in the video will be in the description below. So just expand that if you want to click on any of the links, and they'll all be mentioned there. Easy to get to, easy to find, easy to click, and let's get on with it. The first one is Maya. They're a combination of per gigabyte and also unlimited. They're one of my favorite options around. And if you look at the smaller ones, like 1 gigabyte, it'll cost you around $5. Obviously not super cheap, but as you ramp up the gigabytes, it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. 10 gigabytes is $24, so that's half the price. But that's the first option from Maya, and they also have an unlimited plan for $49 for 30 days. But all these plans are for 30 days only, and that might not suit you. So what about if we head across to Airalo, which is one of the first ever eSIM companies around. They're one of the most popular, but they only do the gigabyte thing. So you have 1 gigabyte, 3, 5, 10, and in the case of their Europe-wide plans, you can even get 50 or 100. Now, obviously, if you're getting 100, this is $1.85 a gig, quite a good deal. But then if you're going to pay $185, you might as well get unlimited. So you really can ignore the 50 and the 100 gigabytes. Doesn't make much sense. And okay, it's valid for 6 months, but you can get unlimited plans from other providers, like the third one we're going to look at, which is Holafly. Holafly is known for unlimited data. And if you need unlimited data, if you're someone using video, TikTok, Instagram a lot, or you're just on the internet a lot, or you're making a lot of FaceTime calls, then you want to look at unlimited data. And these guys are giving you lots of options from 5 days, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, and then you get to the 30-day option. So that's a month, 60, 2 months, and 90 is 3 months. So you can see it ranges from about $4 per day, in this case up to about $1.10 per day for 3 months. So the more days you get it for, the cheaper it gets. But if you look at their 30-day option, it's $64, whereas Maya is $49. So it's a way better deal. Of course, there's little intricacies in this. You get a free phone number with Holafly. So if you need to do calls, that's one of the killer deals with Holafly. But strangely, they only give you 60 minutes with each of these plans, which obviously it's a bit annoying if you have a 3-month plan and you've only got 60 minutes, that's going to run out. But it's a good option because all these providers don't provide you with a phone number. So Holafly is great for unlimited and telephone within Europe. It's an Austrian number, but it doesn't matter. You can call from that Austrian number anywhere within Europe. It's not limited. So they're a great option for calls, and also calls and unlimited data. Obviously, costs you a little bit more, but if you use a lot of data or you need calls, it's one of the best options. Whereas if you go back to, say, Maya, they have a good unlimited plan, but they don't allow you to do calls. Now that leads us to the next point, which is data sharing. If you want to share your data with your laptop, for example, from your phone hotspot, it's possible with Maya. It's not possible with Holafly. Holafly typically don't allow data sharing on almost all their plans. In most cases, for example, Europe, USA, they do not allow sharing. So if you're just using your phone and you're surfing on your phone, you're watching videos on your phone, Holafly, perfect. If you need to work, you want to look at Maya. It's a way better option. You've got 30 days, unlimited data every 30 days. It's costing you $50. That's about $1.66 a day if I'm getting the calculations right. So it's a pretty good deal. And you've got 30 countries included there, which includes the majority of the big European countries. So if you're going somewhere more obscure, like in the southeast, Albania, Montenegro, where I was, then it's difficult to get an eSIM in most cases. These guys cover pretty much everything, but not those kind of countries. And you'll notice the same kind of thing happens for Holafly. There's a few limitations. It might be in the technical specs. Yeah, it's approximately the same list. They've got 30 countries. And if you go to Airalo, I think they have a few more countries. They have 39 countries. So they do cover Albania and probably places like Montenegro. So that's a lot better. So you're going to want to use those guys if you're heading down that way towards the southeast of Europe, towards Turkey. Although you will find that Greece and Turkey and Croatia and those popular places, and Hungary, Czech Republic, and even some of the Baltics like Latvia, Lithuania, they are always included, as is the majority of Western Europe, United Kingdom, and Switzerland. So they're no problem. It's just the more obscure countries you have to watch out for. And you've also got to keep in mind that if you need a specific country, then you might want to jump to these guys, but they all have country-specific plans. Although I will warn you, once you're out of that country, it's basically useless, and the prices are not much different compared to a Europe-wide plan. So if you're moving around a lot, the European plan is the way to go, and I would stick with the European plans. So that covers pretty much the data side of things. And of course, Holafly has a phone number. But if you want texts and phone numbers and you want to be able to call home, not just within Europe, then Orange, which is one of the biggest providers in Europe, they're actually a French company, if I remember correctly, and they're one of the biggest in France, and they've expanded throughout Europe. They have some pretty good deals. You get 30 gigs for 2 weeks for $50. Of course, a little bit more expensive. It's $1.50 a gig. Not bad, only 2 weeks valid, so a bit limited, but you do get free calls and texts within Europe, and you can call home. So if you're from the States or Australia or somewhere else, India, you get a couple of hours of calls, and you also get 1,000 SMSs globally. So that's a pretty good deal. Again, 30 countries without checking them. It's probably more or less the same batch of countries. Most of the major ones, you won't find many issues unless you're going to obscure countries. And these guys also have a smaller plan called the Zen Travel plan. So I'll give you all the links in the bottom of this post so you can jump straight to these. And that costs about $30 if I remember correctly, and you only get about 12 gigs. So yeah, you have to think about how many gigs you're going to use, whether you're just going to be using maps and email and a little bit of restaurant searching and maybe some museum bookings, then you can get away with maybe half a gig or a gig a day. Whereas if you're using more data, you're surfing, your hotel doesn't have decent internet, you're not at the hotel a lot, those kinds of things, then you need to be a bit more careful and either get a big package like this, 30 gigs, or an unlimited one from Meyer or Holafly. Another option is O2, which is a big company. I think they're from England. They have a 10 gig plan for 30 days for $25, and you can call within Europe only within the O2 network, which is pretty expansive, and that's not a bad deal too. That's $2.50 a gig, but you also get the calls, so that's not a bad option if you only want to be able to call within Europe, which is okay for some people, but if you want to be able to call home, could be a problem for you. So they're the main options. Personally, I use Maya, sometimes the best. If you look at their per gig plan, their 3 gig plan is $9, so that's $3 a gig. It's cheaper than the Airalo one, which is 13. So normally I'd go for Maya if you want a gig plan. So 3 gig, 1 gig, 5 gig, 10 gig. The unlimited's good for 30 days. And if you compare it with Holafly, it even compares up to, 49? So it even compares up to 15 days. So you get twice as many days. So Holafly is really good if you want the calls, or if you're just there for a short period and you want unlimited data. So there's your options. Click on the links below and you'll jump straight to those plans. I've had some really good experiences with these plans and with these providers. There are other providers around. These days with eSIM, there's tons of providers, but you never know what you're going to get, which is why I always limit my selection to Holafly, Maya, Airalo, or Orange and O2 if I need calls and texts. So there you go. Thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. I'll be putting out more videos on specific countries and specific locations such as America, Mexico, Costa Rica, Australia, New Zealand, and anywhere else you're traveling to that you want to know about. You can put in the comments below and I'll do another video. So see you in the next one.